There are a bunch of elements that makes a good photograph or an image. I'm going to share the 5 most important ones. I'd love to know your thoughts on what makes a good photograph or an image. Let me know in the comment section below. Number 1 element of what makes a good photograph is quality. Quality is one of the most important elements to consider when trying to get a good photograph or an image. Here are some tips to help you get high quality images. Try using a camera with high resolution. That is a camera that has a high megapixel, because the high megapixel on your camera make your image have more clarity and more details. Another tip to consider when trying to get a high quality image is how sharp your image is. And to get a sharp image, make sure you get your focus right when trying to capture the image straight from your camera. So if your image is sharp and the focus is right, automatically you are going to have a quality and clear image. And getting your focus right is very important. The thing is that even if you have a high camera that has high megapixel or high resolution and you miss your focus, your image is going to come out blurry. It's not going to look sharp and it's going to automatically lack quality. Number 2 element of what makes a good photograph or a good image is your exposure or your lighting. Lighting is one of the most important and key elements when it comes to getting a high quality image. If you get your exposure wrong, your image is going to lack quality. Exposure simply means how bright or how dark your image is. So that's why lighting is very important when it comes to photography, because the way you light your subjects and the way you expose your subject makes the image has a better or high quality. If your image is too dark, the image is automatically going to be a bad image. If your image is too bright, automatically going to be a bad image. But just try and make sure you get your exposure balance or your lighting balance. So lighting is very important and one of the key elements if you want to get a good photograph. And number 3 element is posing. As simple as that may sound, posing is one of the key elements when it comes to getting a good image. If you get your posing right, your image is going to be good. And if you get your posing wrong, automatically that image is going to be a bad image. It doesn't matter if the image is on focus. It doesn't matter if you use a high megapixel or high resolution camera. It doesn't matter if you get the lighting right. Look at these images right here. You can see the difference between a good pose and a bad pose. You can see how a good pose can entirely change the feel of the image. Posing your subject right actually make the image more engaging to the viewers. I'm still learning how to pose. I don't really know how to pose, and there are a lot of resources out there which you can learn how to pose. And number 4 is storytelling. Telling a story with your photograph actually makes your photograph look good because it gives meaning and emotions to the image. Example of photographer who tells a good story with their image is me. I'm just kidding, but seriously, example of photographer who tells a good story with their image is edos artistry. If you look at edos artistry image, you can see the story behind the image. You can see the emotion the image convey. Like you are just drawn to the image and you can feel the emotion of that particular image. So edos artistry is a good photographer for storytelling because you can actually feel the emotion. And another photographer who tells a good story is Biggish. I don't know if you have seen Biggish's wedding picture, but you can feel the emotion and you can actually tell the story of the image by just looking at the image. And number 5 is creativity. I saw this series on Instagram a while ago and the creativity is insane. So this is the actual image and this is the behind the scene. When you see this image, it makes the viewers wonder how did they come up with this image, like how did they create the image. So anything that makes the viewer wonder how they actually made that image, it means the image is really good and really creative. So creativity comes from when you think outside the box, like you don't do what everybody are doing, you just think outside the box. So that's creativity. So here's a bonus of what makes a good photograph or a good image. If the image is well edited, it means it's a good photograph, because I've seen a good image straight out of camera, and when some retouchers actually retouch the image, they just make the image look worse or look bad. So it's better to get a good image right out of camera and also edit it the right way to make the image look more beautiful and more appealing to the eyes. Speaking of editing, if you want to learn how to retouch your image, click on this playlist right here. I'll see you guys in my next video. Stay creative.